For those of us who were fortunate enough to have a decent childhood, do you remember what it was like? For me, the world was such a magical place. I felt expansive, curious, imaginative. I could play for hours with nothing more than blocks and animal figurines, making a multicolored zoo complete with enclosures and shelters. I loved the computer game surround I loved a computer game surround I loved a computer game centered around the Lion King so much that I would create new maps on paper just so I could keep playing even after beating all the existing levels. Maybe you weren't fortunate enough to have a life like that. Maybe your childhood wasn't all that magical and you barely got the chance to explore yourself. And now, as an adult, there's such a wealth and abundance of resources to help you move forward that you don't know where to start. Or maybe if you've started, you've given up after the third book, or the fourth, or the 10th. While on my own self help journey, I've seen quite a few creators who encouraged others to stop reading to go out and create. Do. I don't think there's anything wrong with this advice, and analysis paralysis is a real thing. Still, I would like to present the reminder that we are all human, at least most of us probably are, and part of being human is having a limited knowledge of the world. They don't know your experiences or your biases or what words cause your brain to release dopamine. Even personal training and business coaches who have taught thousands of people and have made millions of dollars have their limits on who they can help. If that wasn't the case, you wouldn't be able to watch hours upon hours of content on YouTube, all within the self-improvement niche, because a select few content creators would have already created the content everyone needed to get ahead. You'd watch that content, and that would be all you needed to get the results you wanted in your life. So if you're still searching for something that rings true to you, that's fine. I think that as content creators, we get really excited about the changes we've experienced in our own lives, that we can get a bit too enthusiastic in our deliveries, saying things like period or that's that, very conclusive language. And because they're good people who genuinely want to help, we do everything we can to believe in them, to believe in their sayings and theories, and still don't get results. See, I do it too, saying words like we and assuming others' actions. In my experience, as I have grown, I have experienced tremendous changes in myself through the content of dozens, if not hundreds of creators. I've found and am still finding new creators. I read a little book called Are the Placebo by Dr. Joe Dispenza, link below, which had a profound effect on me in my teenage years. And then I read it again in my early 30s and experienced another profound effect. I failed at meditation as a teenager, then had some results as I grew up. The laws of science, physics, and the universe once completely turned me off from the idea of any kind of supernatural force. And today, my mind is open to the possibility of the presence of creatures and beings that many people firmly believe reside only in fiction. And I think that's why self-improvement is a journey that can cross back over itself many times over. You have accumulated more experiences and knowledge since your past self, from years ago to a day ago to an hour ago. That new knowledge shifts your shifts your perspective slightly. You may lose interest in a subject and fall out of love with it. And you might find a subject that you would never have even touched before your new passion. The world of real estate to me was mysterious and vast and daunting. An area I felt was for people who were better at math and better at, well, real estate than me. Till I read Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And ever since then, I've fantasized about taking old, weathered, abandoned buildings and fixing them up and giving them new life. I only recently found David Bayer, and he has articulated things that I've known for a long time, yet hadn't internalized until now. I'm still in the process of internalizing it. To be honest, I am shocked at his 5-digit subscriber count because his content easily feels like it should have 6 digits, if not 7 digits worth of subscribers. But if I had to take a stab at it, it might be because it feels a little too spiritual for some people. And today, the hip and rad reigning theories are physical science, and anything that comes close to being supernatural has people turning their brains off. This is my personal theory because that's the kind of person I used to be, turning up my nose at anything that couldn't be explained by Newton's laws. Now, I'm no reformed soul, devout Christian, nor anything like that. I would still consider myself firmly agnostic, my view being this. I acknowledge that the world as we know it is incredibly vast and that we only know a small portion of it. Therefore, I realize that I can't know if there's a supernatural power or not, or if there's multiple supernatural powers, or if we all just live in a simulation, or any other number of theories. And if you're religious, if you feel there's undeniable proof that the religion you're devoted to is the truth, more power to you. In fact, I'll admit that sometimes it does seem like being a devoted follower is easier than not because of the persistent belief of the world being there to back you up. And in my experience, it's a bit tougher to believe that if you're not sure or believe in a purely physical world. But back to not giving up. It can be a little discouraging if you go through multiple coaches, practitioners, videos, books, and resources, and you feel like you're stuck spinning your wheels. In my humble opinion, I think that just means you haven't quite found the person or content that lines up with your beliefs enough to be open to receiving their advice. And there isn't anything wrong with that. Forcing yourself to try and understand is like trying to fit a cube into a circular hole. It's likely not going to impact you the way you hoped it would, and you might just end up causing damage to your beliefs or self-esteem. The beautiful thing is that there are so many people out there trying to get you the help that you're looking for. There's definitely a similar pattern and theme to a lot of them, but maybe you just haven't found the style or flavor that speaks to you the most. Or maybe a style or flavor that didn't interest you before has suddenly become appealing. So it's okay to watch new things or rewatch old things or however you want to consume your media. And if you feel like you should be stopping, that you should be taking immediate action, you can do that too. There are lots of theories and strategies to try to adapt to your liking and to discover what does and doesn't work for you. In essence, you are exploring who you are as a person.